what's good, Shadow Gang? Welcome back to another video. If y'all new here, please subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications. Follow me on my Instagram at Ricky the Shadow. I always post when I drop a new video, as well as my TikTok and Twitter. And I'll put the link to the original video in the description below. So we're gonna react to What Culture Wrestling, man. I've been trying to react. I always react to them, but the videos never come out because they always got new videos coming out. And I feel like, oh, that's not gonna match the thing I'm trying to match. Oh, they came out with the video a day or two later, I'm gonna come out with that reaction or this and that. But anywho, this one I'm definitely gonna come out with, and it's called 10 Worst Botches in WWE History. So yeah, we're gonna get right into it. I don't want to waste any time, and I just want to get right into it. Like, let's see what are the 10 worst botches in all of WWE history in their opinion. So let's see.
I hate the term botches. I think it's ridiculous. Because everybody makes mistakes, especially in wrestling.
Please
You're
don't remind
essentially
me of
working with a live net hanging below your tuchus. At one point, you're most definitely gonna fall.
Yeah.
Still, people do like talking about them, which I do understand, especially when they're new ones. Hello, my friends. My name is Simon Miller, and let's run through 10 of these. Number 10, Cody Rhodes versus Carmelo Hayes. April 2024, SmackDown, newly called up Carmelo Hayes challenged Cody Rhodes because screw everybody. It was great. He was obviously going to lose, but it was all going to be about the performance, and yeah, they had a really fun match. Nobody was talking about that afterwards, however, because towards the end, they both sort of springboarded at each other and then totally
Cody
missed.
either was
Cody
way too
sold
late,
his
or he
shoulder,
was way,
people
or
were
Carmelo was
worried,
way too
and then
early.
he just become the WWE champion. Now, given it turned out he was just trying to get the match over, I have a sneaky feeling this was something they planned to do. Didn't really hit as expected if true, but still, I think they all wanted us to have these conversations. Either way, the idea is never to do something which totally takes away from the match, so I suppose this did serve as an unintentional distraction. Look where we are today, though. Did it hurt anything? No, it didn't. In fact, Cody Rhodes right now is probably the most over guy in all of wrestling. Number 9, Jade Cargill tries really hard. That's right. There's another forgotten aspect of wrestling, and it's called effort. It's like actual sports. Even if my team loses, I don't care as long as they try.
Yeah.
Jade Cargill busts her ass. Sadly, some sections of the audience are involved in a flame war. So when Jade and Bianca were defending their tag team titles against Isla Dawn and Alba Fire, and Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark at Clash of the Castle, well, Cargill slipped and she. Forget the fact this is called a high-risk move, meaning there is a risk involved. People still used it as ammunition. How dare she fall down by accident?
Right.
The truth of the situation is even the best of the best trip up here and there, but it's always the same. When this happens, it's all we want to talk about. Kind of feels like we could all be a little bit nicer. What do I know? I couldn't even keep my hair. But yes, in terms of the dictionary, this does count as a botch, but I would urge you to go to a wrestling school and try and throw yourself in the air and then jump off the top rope, and you'll actually realize how difficult this is.
And you know what? She's trying to do something that doesn't look like she can do, and I respect that, because she can easily just be a generic strong powerhouse, but she wants to be more than that, and you got to respect Jade for that, man. You really do.
Versus the Undertaker.
Shout out to Jade.
So yeah, this one wasn't good. Even the Undertaker has gone on record to agree. He knows he's not blind. It went down in Saudi Arabia though, and to try and ensure people got the dream matches advertised, these two wanted to turn the clock back like it was 2001. Wasn't. It didn't help that Bill had already knocked himself out on the locker room door before the bell rung, and then did it again when he smacked the turnbuckle with his head. Just meant the whole thing should have been stopped, but instead they carried on as people started to get dropped on their skulls. I tell you this, it was genuinely scary. You can see it in the dead man's face too, and this one just didn't work. A bad day at the office, I suppose, but do not watch it. It won't help anything. It was just not a good night. Number 7, Shane McMahon at the Rumble. This one is more of a backstage botch, and let's remember, we don't know all the details. Given what happened a year or so after, I would take it all with a pinch of salt. There was, however, definitely a falling out between Vince and Shane McMahon due to a behind-the-scenes incident which...
Y'all still think Shane's gonna show up in AEW? Let me know.
To father telling son he would never work under the WWE banner again. That is really intense. As the story goes, Shane arrived at the 2022 Royal Rumble in an odd mood and essentially said no to everything. He didn't even want to get beaten up by Brock Lesnar. Now, this does seem sort of true in the sense when the Beast did throw Shane out of the match, it was all kinds of difficult. Almost like they weren't on the same page. We then did get that madness at WrestleMania where Shane returned, but he tore his quad, so who the fuck knows what's next. Some people keep saying the initials AEW a lot. And you know what? Just do it. Like those Nike shoes, Bring me the chaos. Number 6, Jinder Mahal's Phantom Bump. I love accidental bumps. People get so mad about them, but honestly, it fills me with joy. Remember when Batista just fell down? Because why not? The best. Sometimes when you have taught yourself to do this too, your brain just takes over
guy is crazy.
even when you don't want it to, which sometimes means you bump when there should be no bump. For Jinder, we go back to the greatest Royal Rumble in 2018 when he was facing Jeff Hardy for the US title, when all of the above did indeed happen. And yeah, it tickled me because I get it. When Hardy went for Whisper in the Wind, he didn't get it at all, so when he landed, he didn't touch Mahal. Problem was, Jinder was already anticipating it, so basically tripped on thin air. I mean, it is quite the move. Maybe the G-Force got him. Mahal was also kneeling at the time, which made it even better as the commentators tried to make up for this with their words. This is when we just should break the fourth wall. It would be great if we could all enjoy this together, and look, when you wrestle as much as these guys, sometimes the law of averages is just gonna kick your ass. You can't escape fate eventually. Number 5, Sin Cara's Bad.
Sin Cara.
Raymore and Flanagan's Veterans Day sale is on now with savings up to $1,300. Enjoy now and pay later.
I always enjoy talking about Sin Cara as I get to tell my Sin Cara story. Somehow the first time I saw his entrance was at a house show, so when he went flying over the ropes, I was stunned. That's right, I didn't realize he had a trampoline because I'm an idiot, and I guess that's a botch of my own. It really was a difficult time for Triple H's first proper signing because he just couldn't catch a break, including here. As he went to soar over the ropes, he got his foot caught, and he fell into the ring. Whoops. I just felt sorry for him, not that he needs my sympathy, but he must have been nervous anyway. It was his first time in front of a WWE crowd. I think it may have just caused a spiral too, because the Masked Man could never get it going properly after this. Really, he made a mistake in most of his matches. Cara never refound his confidence, and eventually he left the company after apparently falling out with people backstage to boot. The character continued then with somebody else under the hood. I mean, what a total mess. Number 4, Joey Mercury's face explodes. This is the one reason we shouldn't laugh at things like this. The consequences can be awful. Happening during a ladder match between Eminem, the Hardys, Paul London and Brian Kendrick, and William Regal and Dave Taylor of all people, the idea was that high risk was going to be front and center. It all went down after Jeff went to use ladders as a seesaw, so jumped onto one end, so the other smashed John Morrison and Joey Mercury in the face. It did look pretty cool. That part was a success as well, but there was such velocity. Mercury didn't have any way to protect himself properly, and my gosh, his nose was just in pieces. You can see on the screen how devastating it was, and it took Joey a long old while to get over this. The amount of blood that was spilled too. It was just one of those injuries you never want to see again. Thank goodness.
And he got his eye.
Number 3, Shawn Michaels doesn't get all of it. Shawn Michaels was just 100% all of the time. It was really quite impressive. This is the same even when he was hurt, which is sort of what led to what did go down at the Royal Rumble in 1998. HBK was still warring with The Undertaker at this point as their mega feud continued, to the point they were having a
that's where he got his back fucked up.
Michael still wanted to give the fans what they paid for though, so yep, even though he was dealing with a bad back that basically didn't work anymore, he flung himself onto the coffin, which was just the end. Herniated and crushed disc, the lumbar spine that was mush. This was really, really bad. Shawn knew the risk here too, but still went full board, and as we know after WrestleMania 14, the man was gonna go away for a long old time, and at one point he wasn't coming back. Thankfully he was able to recover, which is when we got Shawn Michaels Part 2, and you know the deal. We now argue about which version was better. Do it in the comments. Number 2, Papa Shango misses his cue. It's another belter. Another reason why I do love some mistakes. I just don't get how it happened because it was the main event of WrestleMania 8. Given every single Mania is considered the biggest of all time, this has to be considered one of the most massive errors of all time too. It always confuses people as well when they see it, because as Hulk Hogan and Sid Justice go to war, Hogan hits the leg drop of doom, and Sid just kicks out. Yep. Now this just didn't happen back then, so fans were shocked, as was Hulk. Justice only did this because Papa Shango had missed his cue to interrupt, so he had no choice. I mean, that is wonderful. The Magical Man then remembers, I suppose, so finally arrives, but it's way too late. The whole thing was gone. Thankfully, the live crowd didn't care, as moments later the Ultimate Warrior was going to make his big return. But this is still ridiculous. Imagine Seth Rollins at Mania 31 just not coming out with his briefcase. It's exactly the same. The real-life Charles Wright has always said he wasn't given the right cue, and he is likely telling the truth. Because let's face it, That is actually the only reason that makes any sense. Number one,
honest.
Owen Hart breaks Steve Austin's neck. So this is my final reason why I don't like the word botch. It technically is accurate here, but it takes away from the gravitas of the situation. This was terrible. Happening at SummerSlam 1997, it has always been somewhat confusing too, as both of these guys did chat about the move beforehand and decided doing this version was not a good idea. You then get to the match and Owen Hart went for the Tombstone Piledriver anyway, and yeah. The slow motion footage of this is horrendous. The lack of a better term, it is what happened if you were going to give somebody a pile driver for real. Yeah. It broke Steve Austin's neck, which would alter his career forever, and left some real bad blood between the two. For whatever reason, Hart just never checked on Austin. So it's a horrible story all around, though, and a good reminder how scary wrestling can be. Sometimes I think we do lose our minds.
He had to change his style and everything. Steve Austin had to change his style.
Little bit. It actually deserves
more of a brawler after that.
Now, of course, if you know about any of these other botches, mistakes, or errors, or whatever you want to call them, make sure you leave me a comment below.
I thought I was going to see the one where Seth broke Cena's nose with his knee. That was a big one. And the one where Seth, damn Seth, the one where Seth did the thing with Sting with the turnbuckle. He threw him there and it fucked up Sting's back. And then the one with Finn Balor that he did outside in the apron too. Then you got Nia. Well, you know, the first one Nia did, almost every week she was injuring somebody. So if we're gonna keep it honest, so there was a lot of botches, man, they could have easily put on this list. But that's it for this reaction, man. Like, comment, subscribe, turn on notification. I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.